Borders and shading can add color to a document and help to highlight important information. In this lesson, we'll apply shading to selected text. We'll apply a border to the shaded area. The trip schedule here on the first page of our flyer looks a little dull. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a purple shading behind the text and add a double line border around the edges of it to make it pop off the screen. Let's get started. I'm going to scroll up so this information is at the very top of my screen. I'm going to select the 5 lines. First thing I'm going to do is go up here. I'm going to click the drop down arrow for the shading, and I'm going to go over to the purple shading, and I'm going to choose purple accent 4 lighter 60%. Then I'm going to deselect. What you notice is it actually changes the shading behind the entire horizontal area of your document. So what we want to do is we're going to fix that up here on the roller bar. I'm going to click on the left indent. I'm going to move it over here to the 3/4 inch mark. But what I need to do first, and what you'll notice is what I didn't do, is select. That's very important. So make sure we're selecting what we want it to affect. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to highlight all 5 paragraphs. I need to select all 5 paragraphs because I want them all to have the same indent. Now I'm going to take the indent, move it to the 3/4 mark. I'm going to go over here to the right. I'm going to take the right indent and move it to the 5 3/4 mark. So what you'll notice when I deselect the text, that it moved the shading to where we made our marks with our indents. Now what we want to actually do is add a border. So we're going to have to select the 5 paragraphs again. Go up to the paragraph group, and right next to the shading is the border button. Notice it says bottom border. This was the last border style we actually used. So we click the drop down arrow. It gives us some choices of border, and we actually want the outside border. So we're going to click on outside border. What you'll notice when I deselect the text is that we have a border around the selected text that we chose. What we want to actually do is customize it a bit. So what we're going to do, first we're going to go and select the text again. Make sure it's selected. Click the drop down arrow where it says outside borders. And I'm going to say no border. It actually removes the border. I'm going to click the drop down arrow again for no border. I'm going to go down to the very bottom and choose the command borders and shading. So I click on borders and shading. What this is going to allow me to do is create a customized border. So the first thing we want to do is choose the style of border. We're actually going to choose a box border. We're going to scroll down in the style area. We're going to choose double line. So we get a double line border, and we're also going to go here with the color, and we want to change the color of our border. So we're going to stick with our purple theme, but we're actually going to choose the one down here that's darker. It's purple accent 4, darker 25%. I'm also going to increase the width of my border by clicking the drop down here, and I'm going to make it 1.5 points. What you'll notice is I made choices over here. My choices are displayed over here in the preview. So once I've done that, I can click OK. I can click off of my selection, and you'll see that we've actually added shading and a double line border around our text. What we're going to do is format our text a little bit so it works a little better with our borders and shading. So we're going to select the text again. We're going to go up to the font group. We're going to click on the bold button. Then we're going to go over here in the very far right in the font group, and we're going to click on the drop down to bring down the color. The color of our text, we want it to actually be purple accent 4, darker 25%. So it's bold and it's purple, and it pops off the screen. The column headings here at the top, trip, dates, and costs, should also stand out a bit more. So first thing we do is select just that line, because this is the only thing we want it actually to affect. Then we're going to go up here. We see the font group, and we're actually going to click on the launcher on the far right to launch the font dialog box. We want to make the font tab active. And since we used the Advanced tab last, Font tab is not active, so all we have to do is click on the Font tab. And over in the size list here, we're actually going to scroll down and choose 14. Then we're going to go over here to the font color. We're going to click the drop down. We're going to actually choose olive green, accent 3, darker 50% as our option. Then in the effects area, what we're actually going to do is we're going to click on small caps to choose small caps as an option. What you'll notice is down here in the preview, you actually see what it's going to look like. I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to click off of my selection, and then you'll notice here that our titles at the top of each one of these tabbed areas have changed. For additional information about learning how to highlight text in a document, check out page 64 in your book.